Coming up on this episode of Latinas, we celebrate Women's History Month and so much more. Latinas starts now. Welcome to Latinas, the only Emmy-nominated show that's all about nosotras, created by nosotras. And I'm Tinabeth Piña. Today, I'm inside El Museo del Barrio at their Hangueando exhibit, which is a collection of their most recent acquisitions to their permanent collection. It brings together nearly 40 works of art that invites viewers to reflect on places of gathering, hanguear, if you will. This vibrant wallpaper mural I'm standing in front of features actor Tom Cruise in drag. It was created over 20 years ago and imagines a queer world of transformation shaped by the social and political climate of the time. Murals can be a political statement. They can tell stories, they can beautify environments, and they can provide a voice for marginalized communities. We met two Latina muralists who have transformed the walls of our city into vibrant, unapologetic statements that honor our heritage, celebrate womanhood, and defy barriers. Producer Andrea Ortega Williams takes a look at these Latinas making their mark.
Art has always held a wonderful space for me to allow me to express, because growing up, my feelings were not celebrated. There was so much tension to express myself.
Today, strong self-expressed women are a theme of Marthalicia's work. Her current mural on Puerto Rican poet and activist Julia de Burgos in Harlem is no exception.
Not only did she talk about the revolution, she talked about what it is to be a woman. And she went to the political arena to strengthen and advocate for people of her country.
For Queens-based muralist Toofly, inspiration for her love warrior icon emerged from the women in her neighborhood and her Latin American roots.
So in my early days, she was more a representation of B-girls and hip-hop girls. But because I had to go to Ecuador, I got a chance to reconnect with my roots. And this native, more indigenous, kind of spiritual visual character started to come about in my drawings. She was more at peace, she was more centered, and she was already grown up from the B-girl of the early 90s.
In the early male-dominated graffiti scene, Toofly broke barriers, but it wasn't always easy.
I was sometimes the only girl painting with a bunch of guys on the walls. It was like you had to be tough.
Increasingly, women found each other and created together.
Lady Pink from the 70s and 80s invited us to paint at an all-female wall by Hunts Point. And I was able to meet other women. And we've had different projects that we've worked on together that were really special.
This event that I'm coordinating is called The Artist Process. We are in 5 Points, Queens, a legendary place where all the artists utilize these walls to create an artwork for many years.
I have a lot of art friends who are females who I admire now because they incorporate not just the past, but how they integrate music and history into their artworks. And I get inspired daily by seeing my peers create.
Broader career opportunities have bloomed for both artists, including a commissioned mural for Amazon Prime for Marthalicia.
I had to create portraits of the actual actors and actresses in the project. This is the very first time I received a very large check. And I say, really?
So I think the pivotal moment for me when I realized oh, I have arrived. It really felt when I was invited to the Graffiti Hall of Fame, which was in 2002. Well, the Graffiti Hall of Fame is special because it is a location where the best of the best legends, graffiti writers, icons have painted at. And so for you to be invited there was a special deal.
Toofly and Marthalicia stand on a larger global legacy that includes the legendary Frida Kahlo and Judy Baca, who created the monumental Great Wall of Los Angeles. And, like those who came before them, they share a commitment to paying it forward.
The joy that I got recently is collaborating with my youngest son on these food and animals illustrations that allowed me to see and peer into my son's whimsical mindset and how can I amplify it. It wasn't orchestrated, it was just flowing with the creativity, and it led to something that he and I find it very wonderful.
I've been able to teach workshops and do speaking with young people and mentorships, and it really empowers them and gives them a voice to tell their own story.
These Latina muralists aren't just painting walls, they're painting the culture into the public record and passing it on to the next generation. For Latinas, I'm Andrea Ortega Williams.
It's Women's History Month, and one of the most iconic Latinas in history is Dolores Huerta. And when you talk about labor rights, her name often leads the conversation. But her legacy isn't just history, it's showing up today in a new generation of Latinas stepping into union leadership. I was honored to sit down with this icon, along with another union leader following in her footsteps. Let's take a look.
Down with violence! Abajo! Down with racism! Abajo! Down with sexism! Abajo! Si se puede, everybody!
Well, when I started, I just really wanted to help people. I knew that the only way that workers could really be protected is when they were able to come together in an organization. Of course, that organization for workers is a labor union.
For nearly 60 years, Dolores Huerta has championed a simple idea, that real power comes from standing together. It's exactly what drew the former school teacher into union life. Decades later, another Latina teacher would follow a similar path to union leadership, even before she knew what a union was.
I became a teacher, and on my first day of school, a woman came up to me and handed me a bunch of papers, and she said, "Hey, I need you to sign up for the union." I was 25, and I had never really heard of a union, and so I put my hand up and said, "Sorry, I have no time for clubs right now."
And what once seemed like just another club that she eventually joined became the foundation for Rosado Ciriello's leadership when she became the first Latina president of the Yonkers Federation of Teachers in 2017.
We have a motto here at the Yonkers Federation of Teachers, and that is, we all go out together and we all come back in together. Like, nobody is left behind, nobody. So regardless of what the situation is, whether it's a strike with everybody going out together and nobody coming back in together, and you're not alone.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, women now make up nearly half of all union members in the U.S. And as Latina union membership continues to rise, women's voices are becoming an advantage in the labor movement.
I think being a woman actually gave me an advantage because people do not expect you as a woman to speak out. But I think also it makes what you say more believable. I think women are more trustworthy, and when they speak, then people listen closely to what they have to say, and they believe them.
Looking back at your decades of activism, what advice would you give young Latinas today who want to get involved in unions or union leadership?
I would just say, just be as strong as you possibly can. And I say this, even speaking for myself, is that, we engage because we want to be helpful, we want to make a difference, we want to change things and make a life better for others. But we always have to remember about taking care of ourselves.
There is a yearning to be in leadership roles, and we need to make sure that people understand how to get there. The more I was exposed to, the more I realized this is a place I want to be. I want to speak up for justice. I want to make sure that our rights are protected. I'm a teacher, and a union leader is a teacher.
Two former teachers, different generations,
different battles, but the same core belief that change only happens when people organize. Sí se puede.
And I think the main thing that we do as organizers is to explain to people, make them understand that they have the power to change their conditions, that they don't have to wait for somebody to come and do it for them, that they themselves have the power and the knowledge. All we have to do is, again, get together, take that direct, nonviolent collective action, elect the people that we want to govern us, whether it's on our school board, our city council, our state legislature. You know, this is our Congress of the United States. This is the way that we build power. And there's nobody in the world that can do this better than Latina women.
When we think about women in history, we often remember the names of women we learned about in school, like Dolores Huerta. But what about the women who never made it into our textbooks? Peruvian artist Flor Bromley set out to change just that and created the Grammy-nominated album Herstory. Correspondent Anny Ruiz Huayamabe has that story.
Herstory began at home. Peruvian artist Flor Bromley wanted her 10-year-old daughter to learn about powerful women after noticing that at school, the same names kept coming up again and again.
She came from a Women's History Month presentation at school, and she told me which women were highlighted, and I love those women. I've always loved them, but I feel they're always the same ones.
That moment sparked an idea.
So I said, let's find more women, let's create an album, and we can, delve from that and have more women that inspire kids.
And music became the bridge. Each song centers on one extraordinary woman, one per continent, each carrying a message of strength, courage, and possibility.
Who are these women you're talking about?
These are women from every part of the globe. I chose a group of women or a woman per continent to translate and describe the message that we all need to hear, which is women can do everything. It's a women empowerment album to teach people and kids empathy, to teach them that they can be who they want to be. These women I carefully selected.
Yeah, because we see all the way from Gloria Estefan, Isabel Allende.
I think the first woman that came to me was Isabel Allende, because I've always loved her writing and her books, and I wanted someone from South America, someone strong. And then I started, watching different interviews from different women, and I'm like, I need someone from North America, I need someone from Europe, and it had to be somebody that I connected in some way with through either the message that they have or the experience that they had in life. And Gloria Estefan, of course, I had to be there because I grew up loving her.
What began as a mother's question is now a Grammy-nominated album for Best Children's Music, amplifying women's voices and inspiring the next generation.
Being nominated, I think, was a really great opportunity. There's only 5 nominees that come out of thousands of entries. So it's an honor on itself, and it definitely has opened many doors and many windows that I hope it keeps opening. And I'm just gonna keep creating some music, maybe do some books here and there, and hopefully one time take the award home.
Flor wants to show girls and the women raising them that their stories matter.
I think women can definitely make history, as some of these women in my album represent, and I hope the album inspires not only the little ones, but also the moms and the big ones that are out there. It's never too late to do what you're meant to do.
For LATiNAS, I'm Anny Ruiz Huayamabe.
I'm sure some of the trailblazing Latinas featured in Flor's album had curly hair, which means they knew the ritual. Rolos, hairdryer, doobie, repeat. It's all part of our beauty journey, and we're gonna talk about it more in today's edition of Real Talk Sin Filtro.
Who taught you how to do your own rolos?
Yeah, my mom. My mom taught me tias, just watching them, you know, like while they were doing their thing.
Right.
So like you just kind of sit there and watch. And the net, it took me a long time to learn how to do the net thing. You know,
the net
thing.
over the rolos?
The net over the rolos. It's like catching a swordfish, you know? I think that might be easier actually than putting the net over big rolos.
I never learned how to do them. I tried to learn on my own, just from going to the Dominican salon.
And?
All the time. I mean, I did, but you know, they never look. I was like, look, as long as when it comes out, I could blow it out and it'll look good. That's all I need.
Fine.
I feel like the blow dryer and the flat iron, I think it killed a little bit of the rolo culture.
Yes.
Because I don't kill me, ancestors, but I have skipped that step. Sometimes I'll be like, just blow drying my hair and then flat ironing it. Yeah. But then we pay for it at the end.
The frizz, right?
The frizz.
The frizz. It's not like the
and the split
rolos.
ends.
Yeah. It's like not good for your hair. I have a question. For those of us that have gotten rolos done in a Dominican salon, why do they leave the front rolo out of the net? Why the front rolo's over? It's always, what's that method? What is that system? What does that do?
That's one of the mysteries of the universe.
I think it's for volume.
Oh, volumen.
Right? Because it's like everything else is like really captivated by the net, right? And then this one is just kind of like doing its own thing. And then once it comes out, it just goes like this.
Oh, for like bangs or something.
Yeah, or maybe
a swoop.
Exactly,
Okay.
a swoop. So you can have options in the front.
I have been wondering this for like decades. Thank you, Sasha.
I didn't even notice
that. This is just my theory, okay? So I don't know, but I think that's what it is. That's my hypothesis.
I needed to know, and now I feel complete.
Do you guys straighten your hair a lot these days?
I try not to, man. I try not to
either. Once in a while, though, only in the winter. In the summer, you will not catch me with a blowout because you step outside in this humidity and it's already a curl. Like it's a puff. No vale la pena.
It wasn't until I started rocking my curly hair that I'm like, as soon as I straighten it, I'm like, ooh, what is this? It's so it's like so much is missing. Like so it's like even
that's
if
not you.
Yeah,
that's not on brand.
That's
right.
not
What you thinking?
Brand. It's like either like something.
That's your hair talking.
Yeah, my hair is like, what are you doing to me, man? So I try not to straighten my hair, and when I do, I try to do like some nice like voluminous look, never too straight.
You know what's crazy? This is gonna sound absolutely ridiculous, but obviously, you know, as I also grew up in a predominantly Anglo environment in school and whatnot, and the fact that the girls with straight hair could tuck their hair behind their ear, and like it almost looked like a barrette, like a built-in barrette. I was so envious of that. I was like, mine just bounces back. Why?
But like going to the salon, I just remember would be kind of an all-day thing. That kind of like annoyed me a little.
They didn't take appointments. They didn't take appointments.
Same.
You walk in and you were there.
And they gotta talk. You know, they'll do like 2 strokes with the brush and be like, Miladis. Oíste lo que pasó anoche en la casa. And then they exchange a story, and you're like, she did 2 heat strokes.
Or they're on the phone having a conversation with their family in the arm.
They take the call.
Or if you walk in, they'll be like, ¿tú tienes un appointment? No, tú no tienes appointment. Okay, ¿qué es lo que tú quieres? Un wáchense, siéntate ahí. Okay, otro wáchense, And then it's just like blowing. How long? Una hora.
Yeah, right.
30 minutos. Una hora, 30 minutos.
Eso mentira.
My favorite part is like when they will put you in the hair dryer and you know you dry.
Yes!
You know you dry.
But
now
dry.
you cooking, now you sizzling, now you got little, like your head is getting dried up.
Burnt marks
now
on
you
your
got
scalp.
burnt marks, and they're like, no, 30 minutos más. It's like, girl, I know what you're doing. You buying time, girl.
What does it mean to answer a call to serve? Bishop LEILA Ortiz at St. Peter's Church in New York City knows firsthand. She's about to tell us why representation matters so deeply for Latinas in faith spaces and how powerful it is to see a woman of color in the church giving voice to the voiceless. She is today's Inspiración Latina.
Es precisamente a una comunidad que vive en urgencia constante, trabajando 2, 3 trabajos, enviando dinero a la casa, navegando sistemas que no fueron hechos para nosotros. Santiago ofrece esta imagen hermosa.
When it comes to my call story, it's a bit complicated. Most people think that for everyone, it's a difficult path to take. For me, it was very much common sense. As an only child, I was always talking to Jesus. Jesus was my best friend. My name is Leila Ortiz. I am a pastor here at St. Peter's Church. I serve as pastoral theologian in residence. When the opportunity came around and people started seeing where my gifts were, that I was working with the youth here in the Bronx, and the pastor said, you may have a call to the ministry of Word and Sacrament. And so when I finally understood what he meant, I just looked at him and was like, of course, I'm called to preach and to share the table, of course. And so in my case, the Lutheran Church started ordaining women just over 50 years ago. So it's a new movement. It's a new challenge for those of us who are women who serve in this particular context where it has customarily been male-dominated. And so that becomes a challenge because when you've always seen a male preach, the suspicion rises. Is she supposed to be up there? Can I be open to God speaking to me through a woman, through a Latina? Can I actually receive the body and blood of Jesus from a woman? Is that okay? Yes, it's okay. It's holy.
Esta es sabiduría, como se dice en este mundo contracultural, en un mundo que nos dice que no tenemos derecho a esperar, que debemos aceptar lo que nos dan, que debemos estar agradecidos simplemente por estar aquí. Santiago nos invita a un ritmo diferente. Él dice, fortalezcan y afirmen sus corazones.
So now we get to show up as women. I get to show up in my role and my call. I'm called to be me. And to be me means to be woman, means to be Puerto Rican, means to be Latina, means to be bilingual, means to be Pentecostal and Lutheran. It means to be mother and spouse and friends, right? It means to be the totality of who I am. And none of it needs to be checked at the door to be a minister of the gospel. This is not true of all women, but in general, from my experience of women and my own experience, we are able to sympathize and empathize with our whole bodies. I think we are fixers. I think we're lovers. And when we bring that into relationship, especially when things are difficult and it seems impossible, there's something that gives us the opportunity to just take a deep breath and say, we're not alone.
Recibiremos a aquel que viene a revertir las fortunas, a vindicar a las víctimas, denunciar la explotación y poner las cosas en orden. Sí, lo haremos.
My call is to love. And so when we don't see that, when I don't see love expressed, and when I don't see systems in power embracing the neighbor, then it's our call to advocate and to say, actually, as people of faith, this is how we show up. Every single time, Jesus will accompany those that have been forsaken and have been ignored by the empire. The hardship of this moment is real. There's no denying. There's no pretending. It is an affliction. It hurts. We are suffering. And that suffering will not have the last word. Cannot and will not. And so I dream of what comes next.
Latinas have long shaped literature and art, and Bronx poet Stephanie Pacheco is carrying that legacy into a new generation. As the 8th U.S. National Youth Poet Laureate, she draws inspiration from home and community. Correspondent Isabel Ortiz has more on this Latina on the rise.
I say I'm from New York, and I mean. I recite Hey Ma by Cameron and Dile al Amor by Aventura in my sleep. I mean, I dream of song. These be the gospel tunes that made block aunties and tias jump up in praise. I mean, La Pompa was our baptism, and these streets are my church. I say, I began to count the pigeons, how they became holy in my chest too. You black-winged angel, you remind us all of flight.
I'm so excited to have you sitting in the studio today. Mm-hmm. Your poetry really focuses on themes of community and identity and justice. I wanted to know for you, when did you really start your poetry journey, and when did you realize it was something that you were really good at?
I think everyone's introduction to poetry happens at some point in their like K through 12 schooling, and it's a haiku here and a haiku there. And my beginning was like pretty similar. It wasn't until I was in high school where I started, well, first, I started going down a whole bunch of YouTube rabbit holes of like all the poetry slam archives you can imagine, and seeing other people take poems and perform them and bring them to life on a stage and like watch people cheer for them and watch as people talked about Blackness and womanhood and queerness and everything under the sun. And I was like, that's so cool. I didn't know that you could do that with words. And I'll never forget the first time that I performed a poem. I was like 15 at the time. And I read out loud this poem that was about being from the Bronx and what it meant to like grow up in my neighborhood and to be living a Black Latinx experience. And then like people gave my little 15-year-old self a standing ovation, and I was like, oh, this is so crazy. From there, I realized that my poetry couldn't just heal me. It couldn't just like help me understand the world around me and how I was existing in it, but it could like galvanize a room.
So you grew up in the Bronx, you're a native New Yorker, you're Afro-Latina. How do those kind of identities come together in your work, would you say?
What my poetry has done for like my ability to understand and conceptualize those two identities, it's like it's given a place where they can live together.
It's knowing it took more than a village to raise me. It took the whole neighborhood. It was every mother for every child. Sisterhood is this legacy. It's knowing that my mom had sisters, that my grandmother had sisters, that we have never done anything alone.
Poetry has like given me the means to not feel silenced by my identities or by my upbringing in the South Bronx, not feel weakened by it, but feel deeply, deeply strengthened by it. Mm-hmm. It's because of my poetry that I view growing up in the South Bronx, growing up with a single mom, growing up being Black and Latinx. I view all of that as a superpower, and it's because poetry has given me the room to reclaim it.
You were the New York City Youth Poet Laureate, and you were named the U.S. National Youth Poet Laureate. What do those titles mean to you, and how do you hope to use those titles moving forward in your work?
To have those titles and to now, be able to say that I've gotten the 8th National Youth Poet Laureate title, it is so special to me, and not because it's a really fancy, prestigious accolade, but because of what I know it means to people from the communities that I'm from. And I can't wait to keep finding rooms to fill with poetry and finding stages to tell my story and our stories on. So I'm excited to keep doing what I've had the honor of doing for so many years and keep watching it get bigger and better and brighter, and share the story along the way.
For LATiNAS, I'm Isabel Ortiz.
And that's our show for today. For more information on what you just saw, check out our website at tv.cuny.edu. Follow us on social or download the CUNY TV app and watch LATiNAS 24/7. And don't forget that you can come and check out the Hangueando exhibit right here at El Museo del Barrio through July of this year. And definitely make sure to tune in next month. We'll meet Latinas who are making a difference when it comes to the environment and so much more. Uepa! Hasta la próxima. Bye-bye.
If you like what you just saw and to support your favorite programming here at CUNY TV, please consider donating at tv.cuny.edu/donate.